Thank you for visiting the Candy Swick and Company website. We are here today inviting Judy Osney, who's a certified interior designer, to help us answer questions that people have about putting their houses on the market. What do I do? Do I need to paint? Do I need to declutter? Do I need to stage? Is it better empty? All those questions. And I refer to Judy as my expert because I've worked with Judy over a decade. And I have to say this, I think this is really important for her credibility. Every home that I have had Judy work on in over a decade has sold. And that's an incredible track record. So, Judy, why don't you tell our guests today about yourself and what you do? And I've got a couple hard questions for you too.
Sure. Okay. I am a certified interior decorator, and I've taken many courses in home staging. I think everybody knows what home staging is now. It's gone a little bit beyond just decluttering. What I do is I put on the buyer's eyes. So basically what I do is I go in from the inside out. I look at it again as a buyer's eyes. Am I going to want to park the car and go to the front door, knock on the door, and go in? And then the first impression for that is about 8 seconds you have to make a first impression. And if I can see clutter and if I can see collectibles that are not going to be something that will relate to everybody else and that's going to look at this house, I'm going to very gently explain that we need to probably pre-pack.
That's an interesting issue. A lot of people are under the impression that if I have a McMansion or a home of great wealth, that I don't need you because, of course, my lawn is manicured and such. And actually, that's not the case. You can be a first home buyer or a first home owner and sell your home, or you can be someone who has many properties. The eagle eye that she brings to the table is critical. Things that you live in every day, all day long, that you don't see, she sees, and she sees it like the buyer sees. So having her impression and having her talk to you, wow.
Well, and it's a fun challenge for me too. Everybody says that I love people, I like working with people, and I really, really do. And thanks to you, I've had some incredible clients come my way, and it's always nice to hear that one client said, "Oh, just recently, that my stuff didn't look like that before." Just moving their things around a little bit and fluffing up or adding a new pillow or something makes them almost not want to sell the house. Sometimes they want to stay.
That's exactly right. That's exactly that. That's very true. So when we have someone who comes to us who wants to sell their house, a lot of times I walk in and talk to them and they'll say, "Well, you don't like my house." And I'll say, rather than me come to you as a real estate expert and talk to you about values, I'd really like you to talk to Judy. Well, there's a fear there. Judy costs too much. So could you address the issue with a professional who's going to come to look at their house? How much does it cost? I mean, what are those?
It really just depends on what needs to be done. If it's maintenance work, for instance, if there's a front door that needs to be painted. The price can be anything from a maintenance issue, getting it cleaned up, getting it painted. It might need new carpeting or furnishing it or moving things around. It could be anything from, say $100 to fluff up a room to thousands of dollars if it needs really staging to get the value of, say, $1 million piece of property. And what I do,
Perfect example. I had a property that was in an estate, 5 acres, and the home had not been taken care of. I know that the value of what Judy added to the property was immense. It was a foreclosed property, and kitchen had been destroyed, flooring had been destroyed. And I know, why don't you tell them about what you did? Because she sold the house for a profit on a foreclosure, so that's fabulous.
Yes, yeah, and it was a challenge. And first we walked through with the bankers, and we were trying to see if we could save money by salvaging some of these areas, the flooring. if maybe instead of redoing the whole kitchen, just try to, Band-Aid it a little bit. But then when I went back to my office and sat down, I thought that's just wasting good money after bad. And that is not going to solve the problem. And this house is going to sit here for a very long time. The house had wonderful square footage, a beautiful property. And I think that they were open to, when I went back to them, let's do our wish list. This is what I'd love to see happen here. And let's just go one by one and see if this is really where we want to put the money and the time. They, all but one thing, approved everything. And we redid flooring, the kitchen, the bathrooms, had a great crew. And that house sold fairly fast for sitting.
It was about 60 days to 90 days.
Yes.
And what most people don't realize is, Judy, I call her the shopaholic. If there's something you want to buy, if she can't find it at a better price, there isn't a better price.
That's exactly right. That's a passion of mine. And my husband says I'm in the best industry whatsoever for him, because I'm spending other people's money and not his. So he's delighted with that too.
To give you an example, I have a gentleman's house, and Judy says, we need to change the hardware on the door because it looked worn, and I know that you spent $150 on that house to change the hardware, rearrange his pictures, and that house sold at top dollar in less than 2 months. In today's marketplace.
In today's market, that is good. And that's, again, it's another example where these people didn't have a lot of money. Right. So we worked real hard to use the stuff that they had already in the house, and with their permission to move some things around. And he was very good to work with. Go ahead and pack these things up in this room, leave that, and with your permission, let us move some of the artwork around. And we're going to bring in a few props, a few silk plants just to warm up the corners. And I always say my signature color is coral reds, because when you're taking photos of a room that has a little pop of coral red in it, as you know, and as your photographer knows, that makes it look really nice in the brochure.
How about, what would you like to tell someone that's getting ready to sell their property or stage their property? What advice would you give to them?
I would say, if you're getting ready to sell your home, look at yourself in your new home, in your next home. Go ahead and visualize yourself moving on, and that you're hiring someone, both an experienced realtor and an experienced stager, who we all have the same goal in mind, and that is to get this home sold as quickly as possible for the best possible dollar, and not cost you a lot of time and energy and money in the beginning and ending stages of it. I would say, trust me, trust my experience. I'm going to work with you. I'm going to work with your budget. And let's get it sold. Let's get it cleaned up. Let's get it, pack on, move on, and let's get it sold.
Makes a big difference. Each house has a different value to it. And that's why she can accommodate what you need. There's some people who are afraid to call because their perception is that it's going to cost them thousands and thousands of dollars. It doesn't have to do that either.
No, the initial consultation or conversation over the phone is absolutely free. And I'm very generous with my information. I know a lot of stagers are not. They'd like to have the meter running as soon as there's a question being asked, but that's not the way I do it. I want to get rid of their fear when they talk to me. I'm not there to charge them thousands of dollars that they've already invested now in today's market. They're already upside down, so we're not going to lend to that problem. Then I make an appointment with them, so let me come and take a look introduce myself and take a look around. And I said, in the first 10, 20 minutes, I'm not going to charge you. And then I'm going to make a few suggestions if you want to go further. Then we'll talk about what I can do for you and where we need to go as far as the monies that you want to spend. And it's a package based on what they need. If it's a consultation and a written plan, a detailed action plan that they can take and do themselves, it's going to save them a lot of money. A lot of people are hardworking. They don't have time to do it, and if they try and they call me, I can't do it, I say, this is how many hours I guesstimate that it's going to take to do it, so you know right up front what you're going to spend with me. There's no hidden cost. We don't do that to people. And we make a big difference, and I think that when it's all said and done and they get that first offer and it's what they wanted within a certain period of time, they many times have called me back and thanked me.
It does make a difference. So I want to thank Judy for being here today, and can't
Thank
appreciate
you.
enough all the things that you've done to help us
you
and
too.
make our job easier.
Okay, very good.
Thank you
We've
very
got
much.
some work to do still in this market.
Yes, we do. Thank you very much.